Welcome to EpochMyst, where history hides its greatest mysteries. In 1590, an English ship arrived at a small island off the coast of North America. The crew expected to find a functioning settlement. Over 100 people had been left there just 3 years earlier. Men, women, children. People who had crossed an ocean to build something permanent. Instead, they found nothing. No voices, no movement, no signs of life. The buildings were gone, not destroyed, but carefully taken apart, and the only clue left behind was a single word carved into wood: CROATOAN. To understand how something like this could happen, you have to go back to the beginning. In 1587, the English made another attempt to establish a colony in the New World. This wasn't their first try. Earlier efforts had already failed. But this time felt different. This time, the goal wasn't exploration. It was settlement. Roanoke Island was chosen. Remote, isolated, surrounded by unfamiliar terrain. The group that arrived there wasn't made up of soldiers or adventurers. They were families, craftsmen, people who intended to stay. Among them was John White, an artist, a map maker, and now the governor of a fragile colony. At first, things seemed to work. Shelter was built. Food was gathered. A routine began to form, and for a brief moment, it looked like this colony might succeed where others had failed. That sense of hope became even stronger when a child was born, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. It was more than just a birth. It was symbolic. Proof that life could continue here, that this place could become something permanent, something lasting. But that sense of stability didn't last. The reality of their situation began to emerge. The land was difficult to farm, supplies were limited, and the settlers were not self-sufficient. They depended heavily on support from England. Without it, they wouldn't last. Relations with nearby Native American groups were also uncertain. Not openly hostile, but not stable either. There was tension, and tension has a way of growing over time. Eventually, the settlers faced a decision: stay and risk starvation, or send someone back to England for help. They chose the second option. They asked John White to return, to bring supplies, to bring reinforcements. It was their only chance, but it meant something else. They would be left completely alone. No communication, no support, no guarantee of survival. White agreed. He left, intending to return as quickly as possible. But events in England made that impossible. War was coming. The Spanish Armada was approaching. Ships were needed. Resources were redirected. And suddenly, returning to Roanoke was no longer a priority. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. For 3 years, the colony was completely isolated. No supplies, no contact, no help. And whatever happened during that time happened without witnesses. When White finally returned in 1590, he must have expected something: signs of life, smoke, movement, people. Instead, there was silence. The settlement was empty, completely empty. No bodies, no graves, no signs of violence. The structures had been dismantled carefully, deliberately. It didn't look like panic. It looked intentional, as if the entire colony had made a decision and then disappeared. There was only one piece of evidence: the word CROATOAN carved into a post and into a tree. It wasn't random. It meant something. CROATOAN was the name of a nearby island and a group of people who lived there. White believed it was a message, a direction, an indication that the settlers had moved, that they were still alive, that this wasn't the end of the story. But before he could confirm that, a storm forced his ship away, and he never returned. The investigation ended before it even began. And with that, the mystery was sealed. What makes this story so unsettling isn't just that the colony disappeared, it's how completely they disappeared. There were no remains, no evidence of violence, no clear explanation. People don't just vanish like that, not without leaving something behind. And yet, they did. Over time, theories have tried to explain what happened. Some suggest the settlers joined nearby tribes, that they adapted, integrated, became a part of a different culture. Others suggest they moved inland, trying to survive on their own. But these explanations leave gaps, because if they left willingly, why leave so little behind? And if something went wrong, why is there no evidence of it? That's what makes this different. Every theory explains part of the story, but none explains all of it. Even today, the mystery isn't considered solved. Archaeologists continue to search for clues. Artifacts have been discovered away from the original site, suggesting movement, but not confirming what happened next. Each discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, but the full picture remains incomplete. More than 400 years later, the Lost Colony of Roanoke remains one of history's most enduring mysteries. Over 100 people vanished, not in chaos, not in violence, but in a way that left almost no trace. Just a single word: CROATOAN. Because some mysteries were never meant to be solved. If you enjoy uncovering mysteries like this, subscribe to EpochMyst and let us know in the comments, what do you think really happened at Roanoke?